will be live, and we are getting live feeds and what is coming in right now and what is turning into national news after the FBI director tweeted this out this morning, saying just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigrant arrest operation last week. Hannah Dugan is a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge. Kash Patel's tweet says, "We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, following allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public." So this has become national news, as this is an escalation from the Trump administration over immigration issues, and it's all happening right here in Milwaukee. I want to bring in Bill Miston, who is live right now outside the federal courthouse. Bill, we've been following this all week. We've heard rumblings of an investigation underway. Bring me to the beginning of today and what has happened.
Hey there, Ben, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan is out of federal custody after she was arrested this morning at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Dugan is charged by federal prosecutors with helping an undocumented person, avoid arrest and obstruction. Now, again, Dugan was arrested at the Milwaukee County Courthouse this morning and was brought to the Milwaukee Federal Building to appear before a federal magistrate judge. Federal prosecutors charged her in connection to a series of events that happened last Friday in and outside of her courtroom in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Dugan's accused by the federal government of aiding 29-year-old Eduardo Flores Ruiz, Mexican national, from avoiding arrest by ICE agents who were there to arrest him. Flores Ruiz was scheduled to appear before Dugan on a county battery case that was filed last month. Now, federal filings say Flores Ruiz was removed from the U.S. back in 2013 and at some point returned to U.S. soil and was charged last month with felony battery. Now, last Friday, Flores Ruiz was out of custody and in Dugan's county courtroom for a hearing. And that's when filings say a state public defender not on Ruiz's case told Dugan's clerk that there were ICE agents in the hallway. Filings say Dugan left the courtroom and spoke to the agents, who told them to go to the chief judge's chambers down the hall. Now, while there, federal prosecutors say a deputy told agents Dugan returned to the bench and was, quote, pushing Flores Ruiz's case through. Filings say Dugan then later escorted Flores Ruiz through a back door into a jury room and then told his attorney that the two should leave through the back door of the courtroom. Filings say Flores Ruiz then made it down from the 6th floor of the courthouse to the 10th Street entrance on the west side of the building, where agents spotted him and began chasing him, where he was ultimately arrested. Now, Flores Ruiz was charged by federal prosecutors of reentry of a deported alien on Wednesday and is due back in federal court next month in that case. Now, Dugan appeared before Magistrate Judge Stephen Drees's court this morning, charged with those two counts, assisting a person to evade arrest and obstruction. The hearing lasted about 3 minutes today, where Drees ordered Dugan released on her own recognizance. Now, federal prosecutors say they intend to present this case to a grand jury and seek an indictment. Dugan is due back in federal court next month. Her attorney didn't have anything to say after the hearing. And for background, Dugan began first serving on the bench in Milwaukee County in 2016 and was last reelected in 2022.
You know what's fascinating to me, Bill? We haven't seen an arrest of a Milwaukee County Circuit judge today. How did the arrest go down this morning, and where was she processed? Did they throw her in cuffs and bring her down to the building behind you? Do we know that?
Well, what we do know is that the arrest happened at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. We're unsure of where that occurred at this moment. We have multiple journalists on the ground working to find out more details about that. But presumably what happened is once she was arrested by federal agents, she was brought to the Milwaukee federal courthouse and then made her appearance. After her appearance, she had to be processed out, and that was when she was released from custody.
And our journalists have been talking to her throughout the week. Yesterday, Bria Jones was in her courtroom. She said she had no comment. Just a day before, the clerk said she didn't know anything about that, which you would assume she would have had to know that there was an issue after what happened in her courtroom. There also seems to be some gray area when it comes to ICE arrests in the county courthouse, Bill, because the chief judge there were two controversial arrests that occurred inside the courthouse that really amped up the steam on this issue in recent weeks. But it does seem like there's some gray area whether or not ICE agents can go inside of a court and arrest somebody. Is that your interpretation?
Well, by reading the complaint and what Chief Judge Carl Ashley told agents who he was speaking with on the phone last Friday, it was that they did have an administrative warrant, not a judicial warrant, but an administrative warrant for Flores Ruiz's arrest. And at that point, Chief Judge Carl Ashley, according to filings, told the agents that they could make that arrest in a public area. He stressed that he was coming up with specific rules and guidelines if any of these arrests were to happen in other places of the courthouse, but that has not been finalized at this point, but said that a public hallway would be a suitable place for that arrest to be made. So the contention here is that the federal government says that Flores Ruiz was ushered out a back door that is not used by the public. And that is where the charge of trying to evade arrest comes from, as well as obstruction.
And this individual, looking through the documents that were made public today from the federal investigators, this was an individual who had been picked up in 2013, correct, from ICE agents at the border?
Going off of memory, I believe that is correct, and was removed from the country on that very same day. It's unclear when Flores Ruiz may have returned back to U.S. soil or when he was first here in Milwaukee County, but he was charged last month with 3 counts of felony battery.
And that is what brought him to the courthouse today. All right, Bill, we're getting reaction coming really swift from a lot of people. This coming in from Senator Tammy Baldwin. She writes, in the United States, we have a system of checks and balances and separations of power for damn good reason. The president's administration arresting a sitting judge is a gravely serious and drastic move, and it threatens to breach those very separations of power. I want to show you the county executive saying, I am aware of the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. Like any individual in this country, I believe she's entitled to due process. We should let the facts come to light and the legal process play out. This is coming in from Alderman Peter Burgelis, one of the newest aldermen in City Hall, saying, I urge our community to take a breath and remember what she stands for and what she has always stood for. Judge Dugan has earned a reputation for defending due process and upholding the law with a fierce commitment to the rights of every individual who entered the courtroom. Bill, I want to bring you back in because we have seen some instant reaction. A small group arrived at the courthouse. We're expecting somewhat of a more organized protest to occur in the next few hours here.
Yeah, as news of Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest made its way between people, people showed up to the federal building here in downtown Milwaukee calling for her release. She ultimately was released, saying that her arrest flies against the bedrock of what this country stands for. Some of those here saying that they agreed with what Judge Dugan did. I asked several people if they had read the government's allegations against her, and they said that they did not. But we do know that people who support Judge Dugan will be back here at 3 o'clock to support her as this case moves forward.
And this is making national news. My phone was pinging from national outlets who are covering this. This is coming in from Representative Gwen Moore, who of course represents Milwaukee, a Democrat, saying This administration's willingness to weaponize federal law enforcement is shocking, and this arrest has all the hallmarks of overreach. Federal law enforcement coming into a community and arresting a judge is a serious matter and would require a high legal bar. I will be following this case closely, and facts will come out. However, I am very alarmed at the increasingly lawless actions of the Trump administration, and in particular ICE, who have been defying courts and acting with disregard for our Constitution. Bill, the tweet that came from the FBI director, that actually, in my understanding, has been deleted.
That I can't speak to, Ben. I've not been following what has been happening on Twitter, has been focused on trying to break this down for our viewers to understand.
That group that's behind you there, are those people who were part of that small group protesting earlier? Obviously, a federal courthouse is a very busy place. I'm not sure if you've seen protesters since, I mean, you've been all over downtown this morning, and I don't know what you have seen yourself.
I can't speak to that, Ben. I know that there was a much larger group here earlier, and those people appear to have left.
Okay, so if you're just joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, again, this is making national news. What's happening in Milwaukee as FBI agents arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit judge earlier today. And Judge, you say this, Bill, you say this is an obstruction charge because allegedly, according to the court documents that we have seen and the allegations from the federal prosecutors, she helped an individual avoid an ICE arrest recently in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Is that the best way to sum this up, Bill?
Yes, that's right, Ben.
Okay, so Bill Miston reporting live for us. Appreciate that, Bill. Obviously, we know you're on top of this and we're keeping us updated throughout the day. We're following lots of other things here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, too. It is a busy day here in Wisconsin. Live picture up north. Day 2 of the NFL draft, and obviously it was a smashing hit on night 1. Night 2 looking a little more soggy up there. So we are dealing with some rain showers currently in the area. As that's a live picture at the radar, as you're seeing some light showers hitting Green Bay on what is the biggest event that city has ever seen. Over 200,000 people were in Green Bay for the draft on day 1. A lot more people have the day off of work or will get out of work tonight. So what will the crowds look like tonight? Hopefully this rain will be out of there by tonight. But again, it's just light showers in the Green Bay area, but certainly a cooler, soggier day. How will that affect the numbers? And who will the Green Bay Packers pick? They've got to pick in round 2. They've got to pick in round 3 as well. We're also watching big news overseas. Live picture here from the Vatican as we're getting ready for the Pope's funeral. That will happen tomorrow, and all the cardinals are arriving for both the funeral and then the conclave to pick the next pope for Pope Francis. We're following that as well, and we continue to follow all the breaking news here in Milwaukee. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we'll see what comes in the next few minutes here. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Wow, have we had a busy 15 minutes just to start off our show here. Hey, if this is your first time on the Wisconsin Live Desk, let's go over some Wisconsin Live Desk rules. Everything you are about to witness is coming into this room live. This is maybe the most powerful piece of live equipment we have ever built here at Fox 6, and so we can follow several live shots. Like this picture coming in from Green Bay. It is day 2 of the NFL draft. They are dealing with some showers, though, as we have seen continuing rain showers up to the north and south of Milwaukee. If you thought, hey, today's not too shabby of a day in Milwaukee, it's because we kind of got split by these showers, as look at Chicago is about to get drenched. Luckily in Green Bay, everything has been pretty light. We are awaiting this press conference. Live picture now, not sure who's on the camera, but we are expecting to hear from the Green Bay Police Department. They had 205,000 people go to the NFL draft on day number 1. Not sure how the rain is affecting day number 2 of the draft. Obviously a little less anticipation of what will happen, but a lot more people have the day off. So we're waiting to see what kind of crowds will be there for day number 2. We're also following what's happening in Rome and in Vatican City. This is a live picture from the Vatican, as we're just a day away from the funeral now, and you could see all the preparations being set up for tomorrow as thousands and thousands of people are getting ready to say their goodbyes to the Pope. So that is one of the shots we are watching. I want to see if I can bring this up real quick, because another shot we're watching is, I believe this is Luigi Mangione. There's a bunch of cameras set up. I'm going to bring Carrie Doctor in, one of our digital managers here. Look at all the mic flags. New York City, it looks like, from the mic flags I'm seeing. And I think Luigi Mangione, is this the shot we're looking at here, Carrie, on ELC 6?
That is the one. He's supposed to have his arraignment today.
Okay.
What we're expecting.
So some news out of there, and you could see all of the different microphones and all of the different media outlets that are there following the Luigi Mangione trial, much like what happens in federal court, like the news that has come out of Milwaukee today. Our cameras are not allowed inside of the courtroom, but we should be getting a shot there. Okay, we're expecting this press conference to start here. I'm just going to switch this over on us here, as a bunch of people in Green Bay getting ready to talk about day 1 of the draft to see how that went. Let's see how night 2 is going. You're seeing members of, that is the Green Bay police chief there. They've been preparing for this for more than a year. Let's see if we can listen in. Here we go, the press conference has started.
You're welcome. Good afternoon. John Barker, head of live event production for the National Football League. First of all, just a huge thank you to Green Bay. What an exciting day it was yesterday, and we made some history. This entire town turned out, and we saw that en masse last night. It was a fantastic way to kick off the draft, and we could not be happier with the way last night went. But today we're focused on today. We got some good football weather in the air today, but a lot of exciting things happening on that stage today. 32 legends coming out to make picks. Your University of Wisconsin alumni with us to make picks. Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer, University of Wisconsin alumni here to host the show today. So a lot going on. Generation Z, your house band here from Wisconsin again, taking the stage. And then tonight, for the first time ever in Green Bay, 1,000 drones will take to the air, and a display of not only just the draft, but a tribute to the Green Bay Packers. Really excited to bring all that programming to you today, but also more excited to have rounds 2, round 3, make dreams come true for these young men who have worked so hard to make it to Green Bay and then ultimately make it to the National Football League. Again, cannot thank Green Bay enough. Roger said it last night. People thought maybe it was too small. You turned out en masse. We could not be happier. Congratulations, Green Bay. You've done a heck of a job hosting this draft. 2 more days to go. Couldn't be happier. I'm going to step back. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Lanier, who's our head of NFL security and who runs our security programs for us. Chief?
Thank you, John. I first want to echo John Barker. I'm the Chief Security Officer for the NFL, and I can't tell you how easy my job is in Green Bay. The fans here are absolutely the most pleasant, enjoyable, and excited fans that I've had the pleasure to work with and over the last several drafts. So they really did turn out yesterday. I think the weather, just watching this morning's ingress coming in, the weather's not going to be a deterrent here. Rain, sleet, snow, or shine, we are going to have a good turnout here. And that's what we want. We had a fun, safe event yesterday. We had really record number of crowds coming in this venue. I think a lot of people questioned whether Green Bay would get this turnout, but we did get it yesterday. So during the course of the evening last night, we worked with our public safety partners, our police officers, sheriffs, the firefighters. We're watching a lot of different things as the crowds come in. And we did have a point last night where we had a slight pause in entry into the theater area in particular because we were looking at really heavy crowds moving into the theater area. The great thing is that we were able to move those fans into the historic Lambeau Field Bowl to watch the draft, continue to watch the draft there, seated in the bowl, and what a great place to be to watch the draft. We reopened the gates after about 45 minutes to an hour, and we were able to get the rest of the fans in, and they were all in when it was time for the Green Bay pick. So we were really happy with the way things went yesterday. We expect the same crowds again today and again on Saturday. So please come in early, as early as you can, especially if you want to be in that theater area. Once that theater area starts to fill, we'll move people into that bowl. You still can watch the draft from the historic Lambeau Field, but we want to make sure that everybody that wants to get in that theater area gets in. So please come early, get yourself a spot down in that theater area, and enjoy yourselves and have a great time. Thanks.
Hi, Gabrielle. Oh my gosh, my voice. Sorry. Gabrielle Dow with the Green Bay Packers. I think, first of all, we want to thank the city, the village, the county, and the state for all their support and to really help us show off this great state of Wisconsin. As you can see, it was a wonderful success last night. Thank you to Discover Green Bay and PMI for helping us put this on. Without their day-to-day work, we wouldn't be here today. The biggest thank you is to our fans. Our fans showed up for us. All over the world came here, and they're even here now. They've been lining up at the gates every morning. Thank you, Green Bay Packer fans, for showing up, for making us proud, to truly showing that we are the best fans. We have the best fans in the world. And lastly, and most importantly, I want to thank Mark Murphy. If you don't know Mark, he got a little emotional last night and had to compose himself while he was walking on the stage. And we do know his family was in tears when they were making the pick. So a big thank you for Mark Murphy for making this all happen and also making our wonderful pick. Thank you. Oh, one more. Thank you, NFL. The NFL really took a chance on a small city like us, and we couldn't be more proud. And we couldn't be more grateful because, we wouldn't be here without them. And we work with them daily, and they're really great partners. So thank you, NFL.
Aaron Popke with the Packers, and echoing a lot of what Gabrielle said, but just even stating the obvious. So we opened today, the draft experience opened today at noon, and we're already buzzing with activity. I think that is a testament to what the NFL has put together here in terms of the attractions and the excitement that builds up as we get into the evening's activities on the stage. So that's really exciting, and I know all of you in the media have, you're reporting daily in this community, you've got relationships in this community, but I mean, just the feedback we're hearing from everybody already is that things have operated so smoothly, getting in and getting out. Last night was smooth getting out. Green Bay Metro with the buses and the ride share, Tavern League. People are here, they're enjoying it, and we're so looking forward to today and everything that this experience offers. Again, just open up today, we're already buzzed, and tomorrow at 9 a.m. Things will open up, so we're looking forward to lots of families coming out, and historically that's what day 3 has been, so that's exciting, and just really excited that we've got another couple days on tap for people who have been here last night. I know there's a lot of anticipation of coming back, but for everyone that didn't get a chance to come out last night, you've got today, you've got tomorrow. It's about making memories, and there's some great memories already, and we want people to not be past the draft thinking, oh, you know what, I should have gone. So come on out and enjoy this. It is a load of fun, and we're so happy to be a part of it.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Chris Davis with Green Bay Police, and we had a great first day. Very few police-related incidents. I think we got over 200,000 people through here yesterday with only a few ejections and only one arrest, all for minor offenses. One issue that we did have that we asked for the public's help with is a large number of drones that people want to fly over the event. We certainly understand you want to get that great footage, but that takes up a lot of our resources to deal with that when that happens, and we ask that people comply with the flight restriction over the footprint here for the rest of the event. You can certainly go online and get a lot of great footage from the regular media, so please help us with that. And then obviously we dealt with a little bit of a capacity issue in the theater area. And you know, when that happens, we work with our other public safety partners and our partners with the NFL just to make sure that we're keeping people safe. And we have a good plan in place for overflow seating if it comes to that. But it came together really well. And you know, I really want to thank our community here in Green Bay. We're a small community, but we come together to do great things. And we did that yesterday. We're going to do that again today and work with all of our partners to make it happen. So thanks again, and I'll turn it over to our sheriff.
Well, good afternoon. Todd Delane, I'm the Brown County Sheriff. And I think earlier in the week, I said, public safety is ready for this event. Let's get it on. And what a wonderful, absolutely wonderful day yesterday. It's what we anticipated. And the gates are open. Expect a lot more fun. I'm encouraging everyone to come on down again today. Bring your family, bring your friends. If not today, tomorrow. Don't let this opportunity slip away. Again, public safety, all of our partners here with the Green Bay Police Department, Schwabena Public Safety, Green Bay Metro Fire Department, the state of Wisconsin, our federal partners, absolutely the National Football League and the Green Bay Packers, all of the work that has went into this. Again, we are absolutely prepared and ready for this event, and we encourage everyone to come on down. I want to thank the fans for their patience. I know getting in and out of this area can always be challenging, and they were wonderful. Special thanks to the Green Bay Metro bus line for moving people in and out. And how about the Brown County Tavern League for all the shuttles? After this event, here in Brown County, we didn't have any significant events related to, you know, drunk driving or anything else because of all of the efforts of those in our community to keep us all safe. So what a wonderful first day. Again, thank you to all of our partners in public safety, the National Football League, for everything they do, putting everything in place, you know, to have a safe event. Again, I encourage everyone in Wisconsin to come on out, enjoy the event, especially if you can't make it today, come out tomorrow. Bring the kids, you have to see it. So thanks, enjoy, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Knott.
Ben Handelman here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Okay, so we're following this press conference coming from Green Bay. 200,000 people plus arrived at the draft last night, and they only had one arrest and a few ejections. They're saying they're so happy with how this is going. We are following what's happening. We've got breaking news that's coming out of Milwaukee. I want to bring this live shot. We're getting ready for a press conference from the Milwaukee mayor as we're following this breaking news, what happened to a Milwaukee County Circuit judge earlier today, arrested by the FBI, accused of helping an immigrant avoid ICE arrest earlier this week, and she's now been charged with obstruction, was arrested in her courtroom and is waiting now for what happens next. We're expecting to hear from the mayor in just a couple of minutes here. So when that happens, we'll bring it to you live. Stay with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk going to get you right in. This mayor's about to talk about what happened with a circuit judge court being arrested earlier today. Let's listen in.
Dugan was clearly more about hype than it was about keeping our community safer. Now, I don't have all the facts, so I'm not commenting on what the judge did or didn't do. But I will say this, is that I really do wish that the Trump administration would focus less on settling scores with perceived potential enemies and focus their attention more on things that really matter. Focus their attention things on like fixing the economy that is in free fall, or making some progress on settling armed conflicts that are happening around the world, or remedying the mistakes that they've made as they've slashed through important federal programs. Things like we're feeling right here in Milwaukee with some of the layoffs at the Center for Disease Control. This overly dramatic arrest of a judge at a county courthouse adds to a big problem created by the federal approach to immigration enforcement. What they've done is drive away people from participating in what are legitimate courthouse activities. Now, these folks, they may be victims, they may be witnesses, civil case participants, or people who receive traffic tickets. When these folks are driven away, that makes our community less safe. These folks should be encouraged to participate in court proceedings, not being encouraged to go away from court proceedings. But that's what these actions actually cause. They're not going to participate in court cases if they fear being swept up in immigration enforcement. That's exactly the groundwork that the Trump administration has laid here in what is quite evidently an attempt to showboat. And it's unfortunate. I think it makes our community less safe.
Mayor, Judge Dugan is accused of misdirecting federal agents inside the courthouse. If she did, in fact, do these actions, are you okay with those actions?
Look, I think that Judge Dugan is not a flight risk. He's not somebody that's going to run away. Typically, when something like this happens, an indictment of a potential defendant is ordered. There'll be a court appearance. That didn't happen in this case. I think what happened here was just showboating. They're just trying to have this show of force, and in the process of doing this in a courthouse where people need to go for court proceedings, they're scaring people away from participating in the process. So if they are witness to a crime or something of the sort, they're not going to go and participate, and that makes our community less safe.
So the issue is with how the arrest happened, not necessarily that there was an investigation.
Again, I don't know all the things that happened there, but I'm saying that the way that they went about this, in this ham-handed, haphazard way that this administration has been doing since day one, it's driving people away, or has potential to drive people away from participating in court proceedings, which makes our community less safe. I want people to go to court. I want people to have their day in court. I want people to hold folks accountable in our judicial system, but the actions of this administration are driving people away from doing that, and that's not good for public safety in Milwaukee.
Is this setting a dangerous precedent overall?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe this man should be deported?
I don't know any information about the man. I'm talking specifically about the Trump administration's actions as it relates to this case and what they've been doing with immigration overall since he's been president again. Like, they're scaring people. They're scaring people in this community. They're scaring people in immigrant communities all across the United States. And when folks don't participate in our judicial system, bad things happen. Our community becomes less safe. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across.
Do you believe this sets a dangerous precedent moving forward to future judges that could be arrested for similar actions?
Quite possibly so, but I hope that the answer is no. I mean, if a judge is being arrested in a courthouse, just imagine the chilling effect that it sends to other folks who would otherwise participate in judicial proceedings in our courthouse, and not just in the Milwaukee County Courthouse, but courthouses across the state of Wisconsin and courthouses across the United States. This makes our community less safe. Less safe. And that's not a good thing for public safety in Milwaukee or anywhere across our country.
Do you know of this happening anywhere else?
I don't know if this is happening anywhere else. I haven't seen that. I just know that it's happened here, and I'm concerned about what happens on around public safety on the ground in this city. And that's why I'm bringing attention to this right now.
Has a judge ever been arrested in the city of Milwaukee inside the courthouse before?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Mayor, do you know the judge personally or professionally? How would you describe her?
I've had the opportunity to see Judge Dugan around over the years. She's been elected since 2016. That's the same year that I was initially elected as well. So we've seen each other at a number of community events out in Milwaukee over the course of the last nearly 10 years, nearly a decade.
Have you been in contact with any of the victims that Mr. Ruiz allegedly struck?
No, I have not been in contact with any victims. My concern, again, here is strictly about the tactics used as it relates to this judge and what ICE has done as it relates to other individuals who've been arrested in the courthouse. It sends a chilling effect to other people who will participate in our judicial process here in Milwaukee. And when folks do not step up, when folks do not participate in the judicial process, that makes our community less safe. That's the message here. The actions of the Trump administration are making our community less safe. That's not a good thing for public safety in Milwaukee, and that's not something that I want to see as mayor.
Have you been in touch with the chief judge at the courthouse?
I mean, this is so new. No, I haven't had the chance to be in touch with Chief Judge Ashley. I know that he obviously is aware of the situation. A number of people are watching this as well. I know the county executive is. I know that Representative Moore is too. And all of us are going to continue to pay attention to this. I'm concerned about the public safety impacts that it has in the city of Milwaukee. I don't want it to send a chilling effect to people who need to participate in our judicial process here in Milwaukee.
We can do one more question.
How do you anticipate your office continuing to be involved in this issue?
We'll continue to monitor the situation and raise our voice to what is happening, what's going on here, and sending a clear signal to President Trump and his administration that their actions are causing public safety to be harmed in Milwaukee. If his administration, wants to talk about, public safety, that's great. Let's have that conversation. But these actions right now run completely counterclockwise to what he's trying to do, what he thinks he's trying to do, which is make a safer America. This isn't going to make our community safer at all. This is going to encourage people not to participate in our judicial process, which makes our city and our communities all across this country less safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, who is speaking based off of what is happening. This tweet is making this national news, what's happening here in Milwaukee. So this is the press conference of the mayor talking about an arrest of a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge by the FBI for obstructing ICE earlier this week in Milwaukee. And we've been following this case from this morning as this, again, is making national news. Want to show you the tweet here from Kash Patel. This is what he tweeted out. This has since been deleted. But the FBI director saying just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since, but the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. You just heard Mayor Cavalier Johnson say this arrest was showboating, and he believes that the arrest is making the community less safe, as the immigrant community may be less likely to show up to court thinking an ICE agent may be in the hallways ready to arrest them. We've just learned some new information that's just come in about the man at the center of this, Eduardo Flores Ruiz. Just getting new information from the assignment desk. We've learned more about what he was in Hannah Dugan's court for. He is facing 3 counts of misdemeanor battery, domestic abuse, physical abuse from an event that happened on March 13th. So those criminal charges caused him to have to come to court, the Milwaukee County courtroom. That flagged ICE to show up at the courtroom to try and arrest him. Eduardo Flores is a Mexican national, was actually picked up by immigration enforcement back in 2013 at the border and sent back to Mexico. It's unclear how long he's been living in the United States and in Milwaukee, but as of last month, he picked up a misdemeanor battery, 3 counts of it, charge in Milwaukee County. Therefore, he went inside the courtroom, and that's how this all played out. The judge is accused of helping that man get out of the courthouse by using some of the private areas that only judges would be allowed to use. So we have seen some of the reaction coming swift. This in from Senator Tammy Baldwin saying, make no mistake, this is on the arrest. We do not have kings in this country, and we are a democracy governed by laws that everyone must abide by. By relentlessly attacking the judicial system, flouting court orders, and arresting a sitting judge, this president is putting those basic democratic values that Wisconsinites hold dear on the line. We did hear from the county executive. Now, this just in, we should hear from him in the next 15 minutes or so. He said earlier in a press release saying, I am aware of the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. Like any individual in this country, I believe she is entitled to due process. We should let the facts come to light and the legal process play out. So that was what he released earlier in the day, but he's expected to go in front of the cameras here in Milwaukee in just a few minutes here, and we will bring that to you live right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So it has been a wild day so far here on the Live Desk, and we are far from over as this breaking news, it's becoming national news before our eyes, and you are watching it and ingesting all of the news as it happens right here on Fox Local. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. So obviously we're following the breaking news out of Milwaukee County after a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge is arrested by the FBI from FBI agents accused of obstructing ICE agents at the courthouse earlier this week. So we're continuing to follow the breaking news out of Milwaukee. We are expecting a press conference just minutes away from the Milwaukee County Executive, David Crowley, about this arrest. Another big story we are following today, of course, the NFL Draft. Monster numbers last night. Over 200,000 people arrived in Green Bay, and we just heard from some of the law enforcement officials who all were smiling, glowing ear to ear with how well night number one went. The police chief says more than 200,000 people showed up. They arrested one person, despite how much alcohol has probably been drunk in the past, 24 hours in Green Bay. I want to bring in Sam Kramer, who's been doing such a great job for us, who's joining us live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. What arrest, Sam? Are you surprised by that number? You were there last night.
You know, I'm actually not. It makes a lot more sense, in the video that we had at 9 and 10, just looking out, and all you could see is people. And look, we have the OnePass app on our phones, right? We saw the push notification. We understood what was happening. But when you look across the totality of this campus, which is pretty sizable, there was just people everywhere. So I'm not surprised by the 205,000 number that was confirmed by the Packers this morning by police, it sounds like just now. But boy, what a first night, what an introduction when they were hoping to just get 250,000 people across all 3 days.
Yeah, and here we go, night two. It's a little soggier out there. So have the crowds returned? What's the scene out there like today?
Little soggy is putting it lightly, Ben. Let's just call that what it is. It is, it's a slow trickle in right now. We actually just went out into the neighborhoods to just outside of Lambeau Field to check on how the parking situation was. Yesterday, a lot of homeowners posted that you could park on their lawns for $100. Today, the price is down to $50. And talking with some, a few didn't want to go on camera because honestly, they're frustrated in that the traffic patterns coming off of the freeway, it's diverted. It's not what you normally see on a game day. You're diverted before you even get to really even within a short walk of Lambeau. So they feel that diverting traffic away from their homes, a lot of people coming up here maybe don't know the neighborhood, know how far up they can get, that they aren't even going to drive through there and consider to park there anyway. So some are having better luck today, some are not. The gates just opened at noon, and so we've seen a decent number of people coming in, families, especially we just heard from a mother kind of scolding her kids that were rolling down the wet grass of the Aaron ski hill here. But look, that's just how it goes. It's a little bit of something for everybody, and I think everyone's just kind of hoping that around 3, maybe 4, that rain kind of tapers off, especially as the official business, rounds 2 and 3, get underway tonight.
It's interesting. I mean, you're talking about some of the complaints from the homeowners. We saw similar complaints with a big event here in Milwaukee with the RNC, because everyone was kind of promised this huge thing. Everyone was expecting money, but there were winners and losers in Milwaukee. And obviously with Green Bay, such a big event, I was wondering where in the world did 205,000 people park their cars last night and somehow make it in there? It looks like some neighborhoods were winners, other places were not.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it, and that was our big question. 205,000 people, they had to get here somehow. Obviously, there are shuttles and buses coming up from Milwaukee, Madison. Even I've heard of hotel resorts as far north as the UP bringing down guests to be here and take part in this. But, I think hotels have done a good job monetizing. Saw Chuck E. Cheese posting spots for $200, which is just fascinating. But, you have to get somewhere. There is a lot of area around Lambeau where you could go. We've been on the west side parking wise, but our workspace is on the east side. So we were on the west side again talking to folks today. Maybe that's just the location to where they were. I'm not sure how it was on the east side, north or south. So, it's just kind of a horseshoe piece. I think people are just going to be happy with whatever they can get. We talked to some families today. One, they've owned their house since 1960s, the early 1960s. He said the other side of the street was just farm fields. His road was just gravel. Who could tell that long ago that he'd be sitting on a gold mine in terms of parking the NFL draft and just for Packers game days? So he takes that money. He's hoping to spend it on property taxes and just family outings and that sort of thing. We also found a different family that their corner lot is basically already full. And some of that is reservations from people that normally come for Packers games. It's also that are people that are experiencing Lambeau for the first time and getting this part of that experience as well. We asked them, what are they hoping to do with that money? They're going to pay for a trip to Disneyland.
That's very smart of them to do that. Sam, last night, I got to be honest, it was magical for Green Bay. The shots looked great on television. They picked a wide receiver for the first time in more than 2 decades. Could you feel the carryover in the day, too? Because there were so many smiles last night just of how everything unfolded, how it all looked. It was a dream come true for Green Bay officials and really city pride.
They could not have asked for a better day one. And again, we talked about the numbers. They were hoping for 250,000. They got 205,000 on the first night. So you're already 82% of the way there. I think people here they saw what happened last night. They want to be part of it. But right now, with just how chilly it is, in terms of the wind and a little bit of the rain, it's tampered down just a little bit. I would predict, though, as we get closer to 6 o'clock when this thing gets kicked off tonight, hopefully the rain is done. I think the energy will pick back up, and I think a lot more people will fill in around then, too.
I'm looking live at the radar right now, and yeah, I mean, I can see the edge of where the rain is going to stop. Looks like a couple more hours, and maybe the night should be good. And I don't know what the crowd was like last night throughout the day, and I know you were there for most of it, because it really seemed to swell as the draft picks really started to get closer and closer.
Yes.
And obviously it's a Friday in Green Bay. People still got to work and go to school around the area. I assume once everybody gets out, oh, wait, no school?
No, the Green Bay schools shut down for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And a lot of people that we've talked to are taking off of work.
Okay, forget that. Nobody's working in Green Bay and nobody's going to school. But still, a lot of people still are at work for maybe don't have kids in the school district. It just seemed like last night, right at 7 o'clock, man, did it get busy there.
You know, we noticed it probably around 6. Okay, so we got done with our 6 o'clock live shots. We were going to get some more video. Our content manager, Brian Graham, had made a request for us to get a big shot of the stage. I said, okay. We were trying to go upstream, and boy, was that a challenge. We couldn't necessarily go into the theater area because of the broadcast restrictions. We tried to cut through Lambeau Field and the concourse area, and we were like playing pinball, just bouncing off of people as we're going through here. There were so many people. And I looked down, I felt a buzz on my phone, and sure enough, that was the One Pass app eventually around 6:25 saying that we've cut off capacity. And I looked at photojournalist Tanner Hemker and said, you know what, this makes sense. Have you seen this? And it makes a lot of sense. I would say the groundswell started probably between 5 and 6 as people, if they were going to work, made their way over, or if they were probably tailgating outside, making this the true Wisconsin experience, then working their way in. And unfortunately, some people just didn't make it in because of the capacity issue.
Yeah, and according to officials that we just heard from about a few minutes ago, they said it was about an hour that they had to cut off capacity, but they did move, which is great that they have this at the grounds. Their overflow is Lambeau Field. So the people who couldn't make it into the draft theater were just like, okay, cool, go and see the coolest event to ever happen to this city in the offseason of football, right into the historic Lambeau Field. So it wasn't a lose-lose even for the people who couldn't get into that draft theater right away.
Yeah, I was going to say, tough consolation to go inside the most historic venue in the NFL where there's beer, there's drinks, there's food, and heated bathrooms, which may come into effect today.
Yeah. Okay, bring us in the round 2. I know the Packers have a pick today, right? A couple picks, right? Round 2, round 3?
Yep, 2 picks today, at least for right now. I always try to pick Tim Van Moorn's brain on this, but he says, look, I'm not going to speculate, and your guess is as good as mine. I say, okay, Tim. I think a lot of people are excited that the Packers did take a receiver. This is kind of where the front office traditionally has made its money. They find gems in different rounds. Jordy Nelson was a second rounder, for example. You know, they do their homework, they keep it close to the vest, and I think that's entirely by design.
We shall see what happens. I told Kim Murphy a second before the pick last night, there's no way they're taking a wide receiver. Green Bay never takes a wide receiver. And looked what happened. So expect the unexpected, Sam. Your coverage has been great, and we'll continue to follow it right here on the Fox Local app and on Fox 6 News at 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, and everything else, because it's been so exciting. So appreciate it, Sam.
Insert show here. Yes.
Enjoy your time up there in Green Bay. Appreciate it. So we are following the draft day number 2 up there in Green Bay. It's been a busy day here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We continue to follow the breaking news after a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge, Hannah Dugan, arrested by the FBI this morning in her courtroom after she's been accused by the Trump administration of obstructing ICE agents who were trying to arrest an immigrant who was inside the courtroom for a case of minor domestic abuse, was the charges that we've just uncovered. So we're following that. We are expecting to hear from the county executive really any minute here. When that happens, we will take it live. Don't go anywhere here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk as we are continue to follow breaking news. We're expecting any minute now a press conference from the Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley after a Milwaukee County Circuit judge was arrested this morning by the FBI accused of obstructing a federal investigation into an individual ICE agents were trying to pick up in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. There are accusations that Judge Hannah Dugan helped that individual go through some of the private corridors in the Milwaukee County Courthouse to get out of the building. This was a tweet that appeared earlier today from FBI Director Kash Patel. Interestingly enough, this tweet has since been deleted. It is unclear why, but this was up, and look, you can see it's gotten a lot of traction with millions, over 200,000 views on here. And now this is making national news here as the FBI director saying, just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. We will have more to share soon. Excellent work, FBI Milwaukee. So we're waiting to follow. We did have a comment come out from the county executive earlier today. This was it. He said, I am aware of the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. Like any individual in this country, I believe she is entitled to due process. We should let the facts come to light and the legal process play out. We did reach out to the chief judge, Carl Ashley, about this arrest inside the courthouse. And this is what he told us. I have received a number of media inquiries seeking comment on the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. The Judicial Code of Conduct restricts judges from commenting on pending or impending matters in any court. Judge Dugan's court calendar will be covered by another judge as needed. We don't know how that will be needed. We don't know when she will be back inside of her courtroom. We've had a flood of statements from lawmakers on the Democratic side. Gwen Moore, who represents Milwaukee in Congress, says this administration's willingness to weaponize federal law enforcement is shocking, and this arrest has all the hallmarks of overreach. Federal law enforcement coming into a community and arresting a judge is a serious matter and would require a high legal bar. I will be following this case closely, and facts will come out. However, I am very alarmed at the increasingly lawless actions of the Trump administration, and in particular ICE, who have been defying courts and acting with disregard for the Constitution. So that was coming from Gwen Moore, the Democrat from Milwaukee. Here's our state senator, Tammy Baldwin, also a Democrat, saying in the United States, we have a system of checks and balances and separations of power for damn good reasons. The president's administration arresting a sitting judge is a gravely serious and drastic move, and it threatens to breach those very separations of power. A short time ago, we heard from the Milwaukee mayor, Cavalier Johnson, who called the arrest showboating, but his biggest concern is those who may be an immigrant would be fearful to go to the Milwaukee County Courthouse, both as someone who is a defendant, but even equally as so, someone who may be a witness to a criminal case. And obviously witnesses are so important for the facts to come out in a case to secure a conviction or secure the facts that are needed for the case to be thrown out. And that may not happen, according to the mayor, because of this new fear. Okay, the county executive has just showed up to the microphone, so let's listen in. David Crowley, talking about this arrest earlier today.
On short notice. Today we all learned the news this morning of the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. And while charges have been filed, we know many of the facts and claims in this case will be heard in the upcoming days and weeks ahead. Now this country, but like all people in the United States, Judge Hannah Dugan is entitled to a constitutional right of due process. This country has a system of checks and balances and a separation of powers for good reason. And we all saw today a direct attack on the system. It is clear that FBI is politicizing this situation to make an example of her and others across the country who oppose these attacks on the judicial system and our nation's immigration laws. Now let's look no further than FBI Director Kash Patel, who issued a public statement online, which he quickly deleted, making unsubstantiated claims about Judge Dugan's case before charges were officially filed and she could have her moment in court. Director Patel's statement shows that Trump's FBI is more concerned about weaponizing federal law enforcement, punishing people without their due process, and intimidating anyone who opposes these policies or those policies that they are seeking justice. Bottom line, we are talking about a sitting judge who deserves the same level of due process just like anyone else in our country. And it is our understanding that she was arrested by a large performative showing of law enforcement officials on the courthouse grounds today, and that is not right. The Milwaukee County Courthouse is a public building, and my administration remains in active conversations with our partners to ensure that the courthouse is not only safe, but serves the community and be a safe space for the community. And I'm calling on all of our partners in law enforcement and our courts to keep this space safe for everyone who needs to utilize the critical services that we offer right here in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. And so overall, I am extremely concerned about the Trump administration's continued intentions to instill fear and hostility across the community, especially among our judges who are tasked with the important role of interpreting and upholding our laws. The example being made of Judge Dugan's case speaks directly to the concerns being raised about targeting individuals throughout our judicial systems across our country. At a judicial conference last month, over 50 judges expressed concerns about rising threats against judges and the potential removal of their security by the Trump administration. We have an obligation to administer our courts in a safe, efficient manner that delivers due process for everyone. The Trump administration's actions are clearly preventing us from doing so, that by intimidating judges and eroding the public faith in our judicial system. My office will continue to seek legal clarity as this alarming situation evolves, but today we are asking questions and seeking answers. And I'm happy to try and answer yours as well, but as you know, many of the facts and details of this case will become public in the days and weeks ahead. And so before I take questions, we all need to understand that our democracy sits on a three-legged stool. That is our executive, legislative, and judicial branches. And when we erode one of those legs from that three-legged stool, that means our democracy falls. And so we have to make sure that we continue to protect ourselves, protect our democracy, and fight for our community, particularly as it relates to due process. And so I'll take any questions folks have.
Executive Crowley, over the last several weeks, we've had several instances at the Milwaukee courthouse where federal agents have shown up and arrested what they call illegal immigrants. Now we're seeing the arrest of a circuit court judge. What was your initial reaction to hearing this news this morning?
Well, hearing the news, I was quite frankly, I was surprised. You know, when we talk about our judges who are here to uphold the law, you know, it's really about making sure we give people that due process. And so first and foremost, I seen the tweet from Director Patel before I heard anything about the charges, which was very concerning. But at the end of the day, folks need to realize that our county courthouse, all of our public hallways are public. This is a public entity. And so when it comes down to the courtrooms themselves, that is up to what the judges are going to do. And so we, again, are going to continue to work with the sheriff's office, our chief judge, to figure out how we continue to move forward. But at the end of the day, we need this to be a safe space. And even if you are an undocumented immigrant, we need you to be able to understand that this is a safe space for us. They may be a witness in a crime. They may be a victim in the crime. And if they're a witness, for example, we need them to be able to come into this building and feel safe, to be able to talk, to actually be a witness. And so it does concern me. It absolutely concerns me.
Mr. County Executive, where this happened and how it happened, where in the building did this happen? Did you see any video of it or anything?
I have not. I don't have all the details related to where the arrest happened and how it happened, but we're looking to get that information.
You called it performative, so what are you basing you call the arrest performative?
There was a large presence of law enforcement officers that were here. That's the reason why I said it was performative.
In the first Trump administration, the states of Massachusetts and New York successfully pursued injunctions prohibiting ICE officials from accessing state courthouses so as to protect their state court process and create the safe space that you referenced, Mr. County Executive. Are you, as the county executive, considering any affirmative legal action against the Trump administration to enjoin ICE officials from pursuing immigration arrests in the courthouse?
Again, we're having a lot of conversations with many of our partners. I don't want to put too much information out there, but we're looking at every avenue that we can as it relates to protecting people's due process in this building.
Have you been made aware of any other cases or examples of judges being arrested by federal agents?
I am not aware of any cases of that matter.
Then why do you think they picked Milwaukee?
I do not know. Again, you've seen many of these attacks on many judges across this country anytime they have went up against any policy decision that this administration has put forth. Again, we need our judicial officers to have their independence, and that's what we need to make sure that we are protecting. But I have, again, don't know of any other cases where the Trump administration has arrested a judge.
How could this have been handled differently? You criticized the tweet and you criticized the arrest. How do you think it could have been handled differently?
I'm not law enforcement, right? And so when I think about how this could have been handled, one, we're talking about a sitting judge who will uphold the laws and interpret our laws. But for her, for example, to come to the courthouse and be arrested, why didn't this happen at her home? There are a lot of questions that we have as well, and we're looking to get some answers.
The criminal complaint states that Judge Dugan took federal agents into Chief Ashley's office, left them there, went into a separate room, went back and got the person who was supposed to be allegedly undocumented, escorted that person out of the courthouse, and then that person got away. Eventually he was arrested. But what is your reaction to learning that that is how federal agents are describing what happened that day and are alleging that that's why she's being charged today?
This is the first time that I'm hearing exactly what had happened, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're following all of our laws right here in Milwaukee County. And we are extensions of the state, and we're going to uphold the state and the federal Constitution. But we, again, want to get those facts as much as possible. So I can't speak to the details because I want to hear exactly what had happened. I appreciate your reporting, but I'm just not going to speak to that.
Under what conditions would Judge Dugan be able to resume her job as judge? Like, what would have to happen?
That's a great question. I think that's a question for the chief judge. I think that it may be a possibility of them reassigning many of her court cases, but I think that you should ask the chief judge that particular question. I have not heard anything as of this moment. I just know that it happened on our county courthouse complex early this morning. Those are pretty much the only details that I have at this time. I don't know as of right now.
Any indications from the Evers administration, the chief judge, or the Supreme Court as to whether or not Judge Dugan will continue to draw a salary while she defends herself against these charges?
I have not had any conversations at this moment or with the Supreme Court or anybody at the state level, so I don't know.
All right, thank you. The sheriff's office involved?
I don't know. We're still getting as many questions answered as possible at this moment. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
That's Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, who is responding and reacting to an arrest of a Milwaukee County Circuit judge by the FBI that happened this morning on the courthouse grounds in the facility that he said he doesn't know exactly where it happened. But this is becoming national news, as it's many calling this an escalation by the Trump administration after an individual was, according to federal investigators, Judge Hannah Dugan helped that individual get out of the courthouse and evade capture from ICE, who had showed up to the courthouse to arrest him. So we'll keep watching this. This is the power of your Fox Local mobile app, or if you're watching on the TV right now, or if you're on YouTube, make sure you download Fox Local, because you can follow this story throughout the day as we will continue to follow all of these updates, and you can click throughout the story. I will tell you, we are expecting there was a small protest at the federal courthouse this morning with just a few people. We are expecting a more organized one in the next hour or so. So that's something you want to keep your Fox Local mobile app handy for, because we will have a crew there when that happens. Of course, Bill Miston is digging into more on this. We've got several crews actually on this. Again, you can follow all of this on your Fox Local mobile app. So, wow, what an eventful hour and plus here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we're not done for this breaking news throughout today. Actually, we're just getting started. So make sure you join us. Stay here on your Fox Local app, because Open Record is next. And again, you can click through the stories here on the app as well, and we'll keep you updated. When something breaks, you'll know about it. Pleasure spending time with you here on the Wisconsin Live.
The biggest off-season event of the year.
The state of Wisconsin is really going to come to life.
In the National Football League's smallest city.
The smallest NFL city, but we've got the biggest heart.
The 2025 NFL Draft is about to kick off in Green Bay.
This is something I don't think a lot of people thought could ever happen.
This week on Open Record.
People here don't care if they have to drive 90 miles.
The statewide impact.
The draft may be in Green Bay, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be partying here in Milwaukee.
Of Draft Weekend in Titletown.